Hey everybody, this is Nathan Graham over at RPR, welcoming you again to the Data Dig series, where we utilize the tools and data within RPR to help you research and better promote the properties you're working with. So today's episode, what we're going to talk a little bit about are the maps and, more importantly, the data that is visualized on those maps. And so before I jump into kind of the main map and functionalities, I do want to make sure that I point out a very important map, and that is your My Market area. And so down here, this just gives you a nice little 10-day snapshot, as you can see, of any of the markets that you want to track. So you can see I have both Portland, Oregon and Vancouver, Washington as my markets. Basically what this will allow me to do is get a quick snapshot of things that are coming online. So if there's something that I'm looking for a space for a client and I haven't found anything historically, that'll just give me a couple quick looks to look at before I jump onto the next task. Anything that's pending, closed, new distressed properties, all of that is going to pop up. You can have multiple markets like I do. They also don't have to be cities. You can do like zip codes and neighborhoods and that kind of thing. So I would definitely encourage y'all to set up your My Markets if you haven't done so already. Now, the bulk of what I wanted to talk about today pertains to all the other maps in the system, and kind of wanted to show you maybe a different way to start a search process or a research process. So if you come up here to the research dropdown, we do have here commercial map insights. And if you want to start off with a map that is completely blank slate and layer some data on there in order to find eventually where to search for space, this is a great way to do that. You don't have to land on a property and then use a map, or do a search and then use the search results map. You can just jump straight to maps from research and then again coming here to the map insights. And so this is going to kind of default to your area. So this is I'll kind of zoom out a little bit. So you can see this is the Vancouver area right across the river there into the Portland, Oregon market. This is kind of a nice little downtown area, so we can spend some time here. And really what I want to make sure is just kind of point out all the different data and tools that are available throughout. First of all, if we come here to the geographies, and a lot of y'all, if you've seen my other videos, you've probably seen this function, but we do have things like opportunity zones, neighborhood details, and so on. So if I wanted to look for space that is inside of an opportunity zone, you can see that as I scroll, these will pop up and fill in. So it's a great way to search through maps utilizing a specific geography. There are other geographies in here: zip codes, neighborhoods, census tracts, census blocks, and so on. So that's the first one. Let me flip that one back off. We'll zoom back in a little bit. Over here, I do want to point out there is a legend. So if you're ever looking at space and you're not sure what color and what circle or square is representing, you can really quickly pull this legend up and make sure you're looking and understanding what the maps are showing. Now down here, we have other data layers. And so these are, the top one here being the Esri economic demographic data that we get in. This is a great way, or a great starting point if you have a very specific data set that you're looking to be around. So maybe it's median disposable income, maybe it's highly educated people for some office space, maybe it's people who are in their middle age because you're looking at a grocery store. You can flip on any of these, click on whatever geography you want to apply, and then just clicking through here, you can easily see percent of middle-aged people, or if you wanted to flip on again something like the median income, flip on that disposable, and again you can just really quickly digest information by clicking on it. And again, you could also take a screenshot of this. So if you're thinking that this is going to be a good area because of this one data point, you can always take screenshots of these maps and include those kind of how you see fit in your own marketing, as well as adding them to the pages within RPR. Also within the data layers, you do have flood maps, and then there's also some residential indicators, which I'm sure y'all noticed on there as well. We do have school borders. I'm going to kind of skip past that one. It's not as applicable in the commercial space. But this one definitely is. We have things like POIs. So if we wanted to flip on, the businesses that we either want to be around or that we want to be able to compete against, or that we're looking for that will supplement what we're doing, this is where you can go to do that. So, if we're looking for, maybe we're considering adding a grocery store to this area, and we want to kind of understand what types of food supply industry is going on here. We can click on like apply, and you can see here all these little grocery baskets will pop up, and you can see just kind of what these are. So you can see we have what seems like a relatively small one, the harvest market going on down there. We have a lot of what appear to be kind of plaid pantry, 7-Eleven types of marketplaces. Not a lot of grocery stores from what we can tell here. We got a wine group up there. But basically this allows you to kind of quickly click through and see, what the competition might look like, what supplemental businesses there, and so forth. So, if we're considering, all right, we know that there's a high, medium disposable income layer here. There's also a good percentage of folks that are, in that middle age group, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of grocery store opportunity. Maybe this makes some sense to kind of look around to see if there's any space that maybe we could convert into a grocery store. And so we could, do something like using the driving pins. First off, we could flip on things like traffic counts, and we could also understand where the high traffic areas are. So obviously kind of coming through here, and then obviously going down the 5 is going to be important. But we could also do something like drop a pin and say, all right, we want to kind of be middle of the hue area here. Click on next. Let's say that we want to focus in on people that are walking. So, bicycles, walking, just making sure that it's really close and convenient to people that live in the neighborhood. Then you can say, all right, let's expand this to maybe 20 minutes. That might be a long walk for some folks, but others might be down with it. And you can see here it creates like a nice little area for us. So we could go ahead and create a trade area report if we wanted to dive even deeper into all the economic and demographic details. But what I'm going to do is first make sure that there's a property here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on search in this area. And let's see, there's too many properties there. Let me refine this just a little bit. So if we come up here to our filters, I can narrow this down. Let's say that it has to be at least 5,000 square feet. And then maybe we can update there. Actually, let's do this too. Let's do commercial. Let's do retail, shopping center. That's probably good for now. Let's update that search. And so now you can kind of see here we have our POIs on this layer as well, but now we also have various space that is off market at this time, but maybe we could reach out to the owners and see if they're willing to sell it. Maybe there's also some space in here that appears to be somewhat neglected, and we can jump into the property detail page here just by clicking on that. And that will take us out of the map and into the actual property page for this. So that's an interesting picture. Doesn't really show us a lot about the space. Maybe we want to look at the overhead. We can zoom out a little bit. And maybe we can convert this, since it doesn't seem to be any functional space, into that grocery center. So again, today's goal was really to kind of just show y'all how you might use the maps to research areas, key in and discover new opportunities for maybe repurposing space that is no longer at its highest and best use. But more in general, just to make sure you're aware of all the different stuff that you can do utilizing the map. So hopefully you got some value out of this. As always, if y'all have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. My email is nathang@narrpr.com. Thank you for giving me a little bit of your time today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.